You are welcome to step-by-step implementation of 5S excellence practices. At the end of this program, you will be able to implement 5S in your own workplace without any support of external agency. That is, without the support of third party, you will be able to implement. Yes, we have structured this program to impart such a skill in you. Before going into details, a brief note about me. I have personally implemented manufacturing excellence practices right from 5S up to WCM, that is world class manufacturing, and my implementation experience goes with tires, auto components, and footwear. Now, before understanding as how to implement, it is necessary to understand some basics about 5S, as what kind of benefits we'll get out of 5S and what 5S is. Therefore, in subsequent slides, let's understand what are the benefits out of 5S. All of us will be very happy to showcase our workplace. Why? One, we draw a kind of satisfaction, a pride. Also, if the visitor is a customer, we draw his goodwill and thereby we get additional business too. What is showcasing? There are certain requirements that is given in this slide. We are not going into details of these things. But if it is implemented, what kind of benefits we get? The plant will start speaking for your performance and you need not speak about the plant. That is the greatness of showcasing. And you know what? To implement showcasing, 5S is the very first basic step. So once we implement 5S only, we can proceed further to showcase your workplace. That is important. Okay. Is it the one we get out of 5S? There are much more. Let's see in the next slide. For us to implement excel in manufacturing, we need to implement one of the manufacturing excellence practices. It can be TPM, it can be lean manufacturing, it can be WCM or whatever. For any of these things, the very basic requirement, fundamental requirement, the gateway is 5S. Not only that, if you implement 5S, the plant will become more visual. It will have safe environment. Plant will be very neat. It creates a competitive culture among the people. And also, most importantly, it will be self-motivating for the employees who are working in that organization. It reduces financially all losses. It brings some surfaces out all kinds of losses for us, and therefore we can take action. In a nutshell, if we have to say, 5S cleans up the entire organization. These are the benefits we get out of 5S. Now let's see what 5S is. Now let us see what is 5S. 5S simply means there are 5 Japanese words starting with the letter S. What are they? Seiri, Seitan, Seiso, Sikuchu, Shichuke. In English, sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. First, yes, sort. By default, we would have accumulated lot of unwanted materials in our workshop. We need to get rid of them. Segregate and remove all unwanted materials is 1S. Red tags and red tag area is used for this purpose. Having done this, now we need to maintain the good material properly, usable material properly. So we need to arrange them and identify them. Arrange and identify, and that is 2S. A place for everything, everything in its place is a Taraka mantra of 2S. In fact, 2S is heart of the entire 5S. Now let's go to 3S. Now we are having only good material, usable material with us. We need to maintain them. Then only we can have good quality. It should not get deteriorated. Na? Therefore, we do cleaning in 3S, and that is 3S. Cleaning, it's not only components, it is entire factory. Let's see the details when we go for implementation steps. Clean as inspection is the mantra of 3S. Now 4S. In this step, we develop standards so as to maintain 1S, 2S, 3S. Standards like rules, SOPs, drawings, etc. Now, having done this, we need to sustain. Then only we can get the benefits. To sustain, we need to check 1S, 2S, 3S against the standards developed in 4S, and that is what is 5S. That is audit for sustaining. Audit check sheet is used here. Friends, I'll tell you from my experience, 5S excellence practices, this is the only way, it is the only proven way for having clean, safe and self-motivating environment. Therefore, implementing 5S is very important. Let's see in future steps how to implement 5S. From now on, let's see as how to implement 5S. For convenience, I have divided implementation steps into 9 steps. First 5 steps speaks about our preparatory activities, planning activities. Subsequent 4 steps speaks about actual implementation. Planning done in advance reduces implementation time by 9 times. This is the saying. Therefore, planning is very important. Okay, now let's start seeing planning. Step 1, what we should do first? The very first step is train each and every employee from top to bottom on 5S principles. Try to show as many visuals as possible. Show them a lot of live examples. Very important. Communicate 5S benefits to everybody. Communication is very important. Without people understanding benefits of 5S, they will not be able to buy the idea of implementation. Therefore, in this step, we have to spend quite a good time to train everybody so that they are with us for implementation. In step 2, it is important to select a champion for 5S, the coordinator, the leader. He facilitates the entire implementation process for the company. How a 5S champion should be selected? He should have basic knowledge of 5S, or at least he should be open enough to acquire that knowledge. He should be an active person. Most importantly, he should have commensurate leadership position. We all know a powerless position, people are not going to trust him, people are not going to follow him. This is what is happening in practice. Therefore, it is necessary to select a person with the proper leadership skill and positional skill. Most importantly, positional skill, if we have to implement 5S successfully. Sometimes we may feel we may not be able to relieve such a person for this role. It is always done by giving some able assistance to him. That by that he will be able to manage. But its most important is select a person who is enthusiastic and is also having positional skill, positional leadership power. Most important. Okay. In previous steps, we have given training and we also selected a good able hand, a leader for 5S implementation. Having done this, now it's time to divide the entire organization, including canteen, periphery, etc., into small multiple zones. Avoid large size zones. Sometimes similar operation, similar machines may have very large area. It may be difficult for us to avoid large zones. In such a case, have subzones. One large zone, under that have multiple subzones. Ultimately, it is necessary to have at least a medium size zone for a effective implementation. If the zone size is large, we will not be able to implement effectively. It will be a substandard implementation only, suboptimal only. Therefore, try to have as many zones as possible. Normally, a small size plant will have anywhere between 30 to 40 zones. Just for an information idea I am telling, if it is a multiple zone, larger plant, it can be in hundreds. And therefore, be careful, give enough and more thought process in dividing the entire plant into multiple zones. every zone should now have 5S team. This team should be a mixture of worker, that is operator, as well as the staff category people. Normally, a 5-member team is a good team for this. Suppose there are 50 zones. So we will have 50 5S teams and 50 5S team leaders also. That it is important to have medium size zones, multiple zones with all leaders. Okay. In this step, we improve our communication, communicate. It is the key for success. Thereafter, create a structure. This structure will help us to review 5 years progress, supporting people, facilitating people, motivating people, and this has to stay forever in the organization. This is the final step in preparatory activity. It is to set targets. Target is very important for any activity, and therefore 5 years also. With the target only we can work towards achieving that, and we will have some motivation to achieve. I have given some of the examples of targets to be set for this. You can go through this. Based on this, you can set, or you can set in your own way also. But fixing up targets is very important. Now let us see how to implement 1S. If the organization is a big organization, large organization, it may be difficult for us to take up all in one stage. So normally we select pilot zones, 4 or 5 pilot zones you can select and start with that. If the plant size is small, you can take it in one stage, no issue. Now coming to 1S implementation, we have to remove all unwanted materials. So every zone you identify a designated location. The team there should keep on removing all unwanted materials, put into that zone, into that bin or designated location. Keep on disposing it off very frequently, quickly. At the end of it, you would have removed all unwanted materials. You will have very less in quantity. That is the time you set up a red tag area. Some of the material you may not be able to remove immediately. So use red tags for that and have a strict follow-up. Have log system to follow up all these things. Keep on removing all this unwanted material on a daily basis. Now, at this time, have interzonal audits to make this system more effective. Zone A can go and audit B, B can go and audit C, etc. etc. Like that, you have interzonal audits. Finally, the 5S champion should audit. Also, the plant head should audit. This will help us to involve everybody, and also system will be foolproof. This is how we implement 1S. Now let us see as how to implement 2S, the most important step of 5S. To implement this successfully, set up your own guidelines initially. They are not standards. They can become standards in future. Examples can be no materials on the floor, a designated location for every material. All materials are in racks, bins or trolleys only. No mix of materials. Yields are marked, etc. 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 Like that, you have some guidelines and follow all these guidelines strictly. Take action. Once you fulfill these guidelines, you will have good 2S implemented. During this step, we will have a lot of improvements we'll be doing. These improvements are called as kaizens, small improvements. And to maintain that, we also make small OPLs, 1-point lessons. Let us see more details about this later on. And as usual, in this step also, at the end of this step, carry out all audits like champion audit, plant head audit. You carry out all these audits and then only pass 2S. As a part of 2S, we are just showing you here materials if stored on ground, what will happen? If stored on rack, what will happen? Material stored on ground will be mixed up with all material. You may not be able to retrieve when it is required. It will also get deformed. It will also attract dirt. Whereas in rack, all these problems are eliminated. Generally, example, the storage system will vary from company to company, industry to industry, section to section. So we need to work quickly on this. This 2S will bring you all this kind of benefits. Only at this 5S team, what we said, na, this team can bring out all these improvements. We just have to motivate them. Now let us see as how to implement 3S. In 3S, we undertake cleaning of all components, machines, racks, roofs, corners, floors, everything. The ambience will have to be kept very clean. As we clean, we also inspect. We find lot of abnormal situations, and these aspects will come for corrections. During these corrections, we start making lot of kaizens. To maintain that, we develop lot of OPLs. So lot of improvement that will take during this process. My personal experience in one of the factory, during this step, we found a major hazard and we could prevent it in this step. This is my personal experience. So now once you implement this, you have to maintain. So how to maintain this? We implement a popularly known check schedule, inspection schedule. It is called as SISO calendar. That is every machine parts, racks, all those things, how to clean, when to clean, what is the frequency of it, who will do cleaning, how to clean, when to clean. Covering all these things, there will be inspection calendar based on, and this calendar has to be followed very, very strictly. As usual, like 2S, here also we conduct audit. These audits will be done by interzonal members, interzonal 5S team, champion, and once by plant head 2. Here we see how to make OPLs. OPLs cannot be in paragraphs. It should have maximum 4, 5, 6 words only, not more than that. It should be pictorial. As we walk, we should be able to read. Nobody is going to stand and read. If you are not following these things, then the OPLs will stay there as a monument. Nobody is going to read that. It will not be effective at all. Therefore, make it pictorial just with 5, 6 words, and we should be able to read as we walk through. The best example could be the signal system, what we see in our roads. Now let us see how to implement 4S and 5S. In 4S, for all the first S, second S, 3S, for each and every activity, develop standards. It can be rack. Rack means you can have a drawing, example. Like that, you have standards. It can be SOP, whatever. You develop the standards. Against these standards, audit 1S, 2S, and 3S. You will have a lot of gaps. Keep on building the gaps. This is done through check sheet, and that is 5S. 4S and 5S cannot be separated out of 1S, 2S, 3S. Though 1S, 2S, 3S are the real implementation, 4S and 5S are very important to sustain. If it is not sustained, we are not going to get any benefits. Therefore, these steps are very, very important. Develop standards, make a good effective check sheet, keep on auditing. I am just showing you a model check sheet here. You may follow this or you can modify suitably and follow according to your factory's requirement. Once this 5S is implemented, the regular audits and review through the structure what we mentioned earlier. Most important, keep motivating. Interzonal audits and check sheet audit is very, very, very important, and review at least once a month involving plant head. Keep motivating people, recognize them, because 5S is not a project, it's not a one-time project, but it is habit. It should be continued forever to get its full benefit. 5S, as we already said, 5S is the only proven way to have more safe work environment, and it is the gateway for all the new manufacturing excellence practices. And therefore, let us not just implement 5S, let us live it every day. Thanks. For any questions, you can contact.